So I put on the Facebook page this week, who's in this picture and what does it have to do with Christmas? Well, Herman Kaufman got it right. That's Babe Ruth. That's a real action picture, isn't it? That's Babe Ruth, 8 seconds. 8 seconds of home movies were turned into the baseball archives, and they were extraordinarily excited about this picture, and that one too. Because there is no movie footage of Babe Ruth in the place where he spent most of his time, in the outfield. Outfielders know this. You're out there for, right? Am I right? Yeah. You're out there forever. You got to be alert. Something could happen. For the most part, you could stand there the whole inning and nothing comes your way. Now, there's plenty of footage for newsreels of Babe Ruth. He's swinging and missing. He's swinging and connecting. He had 714 home runs. So if you kept the cameras moving, you'd get one of them sooner or later. And then we'd see that funny little bandy-legged way that he would run around the bases. It just had a very distinctive walk. The only performance-enhancing drugs he used were beer and hot dogs. Legal in most states. But the point is, it's amazing that the place where he spent the most time, that there should have been no movies taken at all. On the other hand, we didn't need a movie of Babe Ruth in the outfield to know what he looked like. And we can take the photo down now. That was very good. Thank you. Because we've been there and we already know. It hasn't changed since Americans took the game of rounders and gave it a few more rules back in the 19th century and created baseball. That's what it looks like. Whether we did that in junior high or in grade school or in the sandlots, whether we went to watch our students playing softball or baseball, we know what it looks like. We can put ourselves there. And I thought about that because as much as I would love it if some archivist found 8 seconds of footage of the Nativity, even if one of the shepherds was kind of in the way and I couldn't see Joseph that clearly, even if I only got half an angel's wing, I don't need 8 seconds of footage to know what the outfield looks like, and I don't need 8 seconds of footage to know what a newborn baby looks like. I don't need 8 seconds of footage to know what a mom looks like right after childbirth, and there's no amount of footage that would help me know what it feels like right after mom is done. At least I hope not. Because what happens in Luke chapter 2 is as ordinary as the 5th or the 6th inning of the baseball game. It's as ordinary as it could be. The story involves taxes. That's distressingly ordinary. That's now great news. Rulers far away expecting you to go here or go there or do something or comply with some regulation they thought of, whether they know anything about education, whether they know anything about roads, whether they know anything about life. We're used to looking or hearing about a piece of legislation and saying Indianapolis, Washington, D.C., just as they were surely used to saying Rome. We're used to the fact that childbirth takes place when it's going to take place, not when we want it to take place. And most of all, we share one thing in common with every participant in Luke chapter 2, whether he is the emperor in Rome, Quirinius the governor, Mary, Joseph, or the baby Jesus. We were all born. We're all here. Whatever miracle, took place to bring about the person that we are. This is our story because it's so very, very ordinary. You've all been there. And because you've all been there, because you know this story, because you can imagine yourself in this story, I can forgive Luke for simply saying, and the time came for Mary to give birth, and she gave birth, and wait a minute, Luke, tell me what happened. Every birth story is so unique and so wonderful and so beautiful. I'll forgive him because we can put ourselves in that story anyway, and we can know what took place. Because it's all about the baby, just like it's all about our kids. And it's all about our youth. And it's all about you. It's all about each one of us. We are the most ordinary and the most important person in the world. And that's because Jesus came to give meaning to our lives. Luke kind of lets us in on this just a little bit because he starts off by mentioning Caesar Augustus and Quirinius the governor. That's how most people would have thought of the period. Name the big names. Tell us about the rulers. It used to be that history was thought of as the story of great men. And I use the word men there because there weren't many women allowed in that pantheon. Now we know that history is the story of ordinary folks and what they cooked in and what they ate and how long they lived and whether they had problems with their teeth like your pastor does. No archive is going to discover 8 seconds of footage somewhere deep in their vaults of the Nativity. But every one of us can discover Jesus Christ shining brightly. Every kid knows right away that a nativity set was meant to be played with, that you want to pick up the baby Jesus, that you want to move the sheep and put them on the roof and bring the angel off of the roof and put him next to the manger. Everybody knows this. We're part of the game. This Christmas, let yourself play with a nativity set. Put yourself in that rare footage. And remember, you know this story because it's your story. You know this story because it's God's story. And we know this story because it's our story together. It's so ordinary and so wonderfully extraordinary that it's hard to believe. And we can gratefully say that the Son of God comes not born in the emperor's palace, not in the capital of the universe, Rome, the eternal city, which had already by this point been in existence over 700 years. Pretty impressive when you consider our history is less than 250. And despite that, Jesus goes to the true center of the world and is born there in our hearts, in our lives, in our church. Amen.